Hey there, everyone. It's the week of February 23rd to March 1st. Tali here in Seattle.
And Ophi in snowy, blizzardy New York. We're in the last week of the longest, shortest month of the year. And
Oh my God.
yeah,
Yeah.
we say that because, whoo, there was so much astrology packed into February, and we all felt it. We had the year of the fire horse. We had a solar eclipse the same day. We had the great reset of the Saturn Neptune conjunction on February 20th, and Saturn leaving Pisces after 3 years, moving
So
into
much.
Aries.
Yeah, I feel like this week is sort of a time of integration, but not quite because we are in the middle of eclipse season. And on Friday, Mercury turns retrograde for the first time this year. We also have a clash between two really hot-headed planets on Saturday, Mars and Uranus. And then that very same day, the Sun and the North Node meet up in Pisces. So we've got a lot.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're already processing a lot, but it does feel like a new world is emerging. I definitely felt the shift with the fire horse. And a lot of people are saying that they feel kind of awake and alive and energized and like they've shed that skin from the wood snake.
I
The
feel like there was
fact,
like some bursts of aggression when the fire horse came in on the streets and on the roads. It was almost like the gates had been open and people were like driving like crazy, and I just noticed people being a little more confrontational, but I don't know, it seems to have
I,
settled a little
I
bit.
channeled that energy into like rage cleaning. I like the shed in my backyard was desperately in need of a clean out. It had things in there for years and years. And it was a really actually warm, sunny, well, quote unquote warm, sunny day in Seattle. And yeah, my friend who's really motivating, my friend Molly, was like, let's do it. Why not now? I
Yeah,
mean, we,
there's an immediacy that's come with this
there
new
is.
Aries energy, like now, now, now. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I climbed on, there's a bunch of branches on the back of side of the shed. I like climbed on them and swept all these pine needles off the roof. And I was like, had all this like strength I didn't know I had in me. It was really, I was like, what is this? Okay, I'll take it, you know?
Yeah, no, I definitely like I've been like moving more and going to the gym and just feeling that. I mean, I hope others are. Well, that's something that we've been saying that we recommended for the fire horse year. It's the year of the unbridled spirit. And we kicked off our Become Your Own Astrologer 2026 course. Some of you guys,
So
to our
great.
listeners, are we had our first session, and if you're in there, we just had a great energetic first class. And the doors are now closed, so you'll have to join us in 2027 if you want to be part of it. But we are off. But one of the things we've been telling people for the year of the unbridled spirit 2026 is just to really get your physical energy up as much as you can. Stay
Yeah.
strong, you know, move, because we need to have our bodies ready just to hold a lot of the emotions and the changes and the things that are happening on the planet. We need to be strong enough to handle that.
I mean,
So,
that is just making me like, I think right after we recorded last week, the ridiculous Maha ad was released with
oh my
RFK Jr. and
God.
Kid Rock, two
Oh,
Capricorn men, where like, you know, they're doing some heated rivalry sort of, mashup. I'm kidding, not kidding, but like they're both like whip off their shirts and like RFK Jr. literally is working out in jeans. Like who
going in a
works out in
cold plunge. I mean,
in
if you're listening to
jeans?
this, you've probably seen it and are struggling to unsee it. But it was full of little white nationalist symbols, like the
Also, RFK
drinking
Jr.
whole milk. Yeah.
Oh, right. The whole milk, right. And RFK Jr. is 72. You cannot tell me that that man is all natural
Oh
because
yeah.
he's definitely got the ripped bod of a steroid user, I would say.
Oh my
Or
God.
maybe like I just feel like all of these bros and Maha MAGA overlap are like, why do they all have a licensing deal with a supplement company? Will
Oh
someone
my
please
God.
explain the manosphere's
Supplement. I mean,
relationship?
speaking of
Right.
blizzards, he was saying that he did cocaine off of a toilet seat and then cold plunges in his jeans. It's just weird. It's like, and I doubt they even notice the heated rivalry, homoeroticism of their whole shtick there. They probably thought
I'm
they were
sure
just
they
being
didn't.
looks maxing gym bros there. Apparently, Kid Rock is like on tour and selling his tickets for $5,000
Yeah,
a
he
pop.
is.
So grifting off of a grifter. I guess grifting has a chain. It's like it's like
I
a
mean,
pyramid scheme.
we are from Detroit and we're the same age as well, Kid Rock's maybe a couple years
He's a
older
year,
than
so yeah,
us.
he's a year older. Yeah.
And Eminem is the same age. There was only one place where you could like in Detroit where like people would come together to listen to like underground hip hop and also what was known as alternative music. Then it was called St. Andrew's Hall, the Shelter. And actually in Eminem's 8 Mile movie, he does his rap battle at the Shelter.
Which he really
And
did. So,
he really did, yeah. Like everybody, it was like you know, anyways, it was kind of a legendary place. We would drive there on Fridays and sometimes on Tuesdays. But I remember one time, like Eminem was always there. But like, I remember one time people were like, oh my God, Kid Rock is here. I was like,
oh, I remember that.
who
Like,
the hell
what?
is Kid Rock? I think he like started a fight or something. He was just the
Yeah, he would come with his
punchable.
little radio on his shoulder and like trying to be like Run DMC. I mean, he of course stole
He was
all of
all he
his
always had a
everything from black
punchable
culture.
face. Yeah, but
Yeah.
just like please take your bigoted ass out of here. So he's still pulling the same tricks. Anyways, little archival moment
And
there,
now
but
he's grifting for $5,000 a ticket. It's this turning point as a Kid Rock. They're turning into each other, but we'll let Candace Owens handle those people for now. So let's talk about this whole new world that we're going into as we emerge from the year of the snake into the year of the horse. Last week when we recorded, it was the tail end, pun intended, I suppose,
giddy up.
of the snake and the beginning of the horse. So um yeah, I think and we moved into a fire year because years that end in 6 and 7 are ruled by fire out of the two wood years ending in 4 and 5. So wood is about growth and expansion. It's more conservative, though. It's more, structured, that sort of thing. Fire is like unleashed. And definitely, we're definitely feeling that for
Well, three
sure.
days after the Fire Horse year began, we had a very fiery moment, one that we've been talking about on for a while. So it is, and some really remarkable things actually happened that day on Friday, February 20th. Saturn, planet of structure, and Neptune, the planet of dreams and compassion, met at 0 degrees Aries. The exact conjunction only happens every 35 to 40 years and hadn't happened in Aries since 1702. And it was extra special because it happened at 0 degrees Aries, the Aries point, the very first degree of the entire zodiac. So, we were calling it kind of a great reset. And that was the day that the Supreme Court grew a pair and struck down Trump's tariffs as illegal. And it was like the fight. It really had like the sad, like 6-3 too. It wasn't just like a skating by. It's like Saturn and Aries Saturn, it likes the rule of law. it can be, there's a little concern that it could be a little authoritarian in Aries. And I think we're definitely seeing that with the quote unquote
It's
Board of
yeah.
Peace, which is the most ridiculous assembly of colonizing authoritarians who suddenly think that they have the right to turn Gaza into their real estate development
They're all
over a
trying to
mass
buy a
grave.
land grab there. It's just
It's
gross.
disgusting. Like with all, like there was so much bringing them home was really important for people in Israel. And then there's zero respect for the remains of people in Gaza, whether you want to call it a war or a genocide. I call it the latter, but there are people in our community who won't call it that. But okay, then whatever your beliefs are, why would you not extend the same right to people? Instead, you're already unveiling your 5 point plan like Jared Kushner for building. I mean, I think that that is going to be met. I feel like other countries are really starting to strike back and stand up to the US. I'm
Yeah.
really, and that's hard to say because, of course, but like the regime that currently rules here does not represent the majority of us. And so Saturn and Neptune in Aries, I think we're going to, and with the fire horse, and Saturn and Neptune are together in Aries for 2 whole years.
Yeah.
Neptune's there all the way until 2039 and Saturn until April of 2028. But, you know, the backbone and the fight it's going to give people. And, I hopefully, like, rather than, because I think, when Saturn and Neptune were in Pisces together for the last 3 years, Pisces can have a little bit of, it can have victim consciousness. And there's been a lot of, like, I think we saw during the 2024 election, a lot of the messaging was about don't let Trump do this. Just, like playing defense but like I do feel that, Zoran Mamdani has illustrated the power of a simple unifying message that includes people. What do we stand
And
for?
something, a future, a hope, a
Progress.
vision, like what are, and that's what a lot of people have criticized, sort of what they're calling the establishment Democrats for, like only talking about the other side and what they're going to do wrong, but not having something. Sure, they might have a plan and policies, but what they maybe don't have is something that really inspires people on an emotional soul level to
Hmm.
actually want to get out there and vote. And so Zoran Mamdani did that and he won. And that brings us to an Aries who's really been in the spotlight, Jasmine Crockett. So she's an Aries with a Capricorn moon. And she's actually got the Sun, Venus, and Mars all in Aries in her chart. And I personally love her because I think she really does make it about the people and fight for the people. And
Hmm.
one of the things that a lot of people,
She's a
including,
civil rights attorney too.
yeah, she's a really impressive person. And one of the things that was upsetting for a lot of people this week was her opponent, James Tallarico, who's a Taurus. He's a Taurus snake, actually, interestingly, in his North Node return. Exactly. He's a 0 degree Pisces North Node.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah. So Stephen Colbert interviewed him on his YouTube channel. There was a whole conflict with the FCC about if you have one political guest on, you have to have the other side on represented. All of a sudden, it was just a
Oh
bunch
my
of it was
God.
some whole drama. But Stephen Colbert made this whole thing like we are not having James Tallarico on. And while I really love Stephen Colbert, who's also a Taurus, like James Tallarico. I also was like, I was annoyed by that because I mean, Jasmine Crockett is so experienced. And it's like this whole thing like one black woman lost an election who didn't even remotely have enough time to prepare. And now everyone's just, all these people are so scared oh my God, if that happened once, it'll happen again. We got to support the guy who's safe. We got to support the white guy. Like, I'm sure people like him and he has great qualities too, but like, it's this, like you said, playing defense, fearfulness that is so not in line with
And
the
the
fire
hubris
horse.
too, like that,
Yeah, he's a
I
teacher, he's a pastor. But he's a white guy, so he should be equally qualified as this civil rights attorney who actually has experience in the government. And
what's that quote? Like it's only impossible until it's done. I'm look at Mom Donnie too,
Yeah, that was Mandela who said that, who was a cancer. Yeah, exactly. So what I think is important at this moment in history, if I look at the astrology of it, here we are in the, I think, the age of Aquarius. We've got Pluto, the great transformer alchemist in Aquarius, a sign of democracy, the sign of governments, a sign of groups. I think that Zoran is a great example of that energy coming to life. And I mean, here
Well,
we are in New
yeah.
York City with the blizzard. His social media is awesome. He's making sure everybody is feeling supported. I know there's some people who are pissed off about his taxing of the rich and some other things. Of course. Of course, he's a mayor and he's going to piss people off. So that's
I mean,
inevitable.
it's so, it's like it's like either this very small percentage of, the highest earners have to do 2% more tax, or millions of people who are already stretched thin have to. And I love what he's doing, and I love how he's standing up for the people. The whole sob story of like the rich being punished. It's just getting so old. Like, how much do you need? When is enough enough? Like, come
Yeah.
on, use your resources better,
Well, that
Like,
was
if you're
like something that like I saw because I spend a good amount of time on LinkedIn after Davos. There were some women who went. They were posting about like we need more women billionaires, and this was right when Neptune had gone into Aries, and I was like, let me question that a little bit. It was like, and I did. I questioned someone on their post, like, is that really the answer? Do we need to create an even bigger wealth gap? Like, is that what? Is there a guarantee
right.
that if women become billionaires, they're going to just go out and save the planet? Or are they going to give it to a money manager, a family charity, or family office? They're going to try to keep it in the
Or are they going to go Erica Kirk? I mean,
yeah, like
like this
there
year
already
has
are
been,
women billionaires who are doing great things. It was like the person who wrote it is probably not a billionaire and it is definitely not. And it's just also kind of like it was just this glorifying that's almost like the Kardashians, like Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party. Like there's it was the Jeff and Lauren Bezos. Like oh,
it's the whole
now
Marie
that
Antoinette era.
yeah,
That's
like
just,
Pluto and
yeah.
Aquarius. Aquarius is the opposite sign of Leo, and Leo is the gilded kind of, I mean, we may see more of the gilded celebrity in the second half of the year. You predicted that with Jupiter going into Leo, but the South Node is going to go into Leo. So it's going to be the lion is still going to got to stay tamed. So
What I'd like to see is the billionaires on the left, or the female billionaires like Kylie Jenner and Taylor Swift,
yeah.
actually using their money to create change the way, it's like
And if
Bill
they are
Gates
and
used
doing
his
it
billions
publicly,
to, yeah,
that's the difference.
exactly.
Like
Right.
they very well may
But
donate to a
not,
lot of
no, it's not about the donation. It's literally about getting behind candidates who stand for things, who will protect our rights, who will protect democracy. It's like they're not, to my knowledge, doing involved in politics at all. But, on
no.
the right, they have all these money people. Well, as we're now finding out, it's all tied into, a lot of it is tied into the Jeffrey Epstein bribes and schemes. I mean, that's
Ooh,
just not going away. It's Pisces season now. We're in the middle of eclipse season. And just a little to backtrack a minute about, the Crockett Tallarico, Texas primary actually happens on the day of the closing eclipse on March 3rd. which is when there's an eclipse in Virgo. So eclipses, so you guys know, come in pairs, 2 weeks apart. Starts with the new moon, ends with the full moon, or it starts with the full moon, ends with a new moon. Full moon, lunar eclipse, new moon, solar eclipse. So we had the solar eclipse with the new moon in Aquarius on February 17th. We get the lunar eclipse on March 3rd, 3/3, total lunar eclipse. So the blood moon, complete blood moon in Virgo. The full moon is always in the opposite sign that the sun is in, by the way, little another fun astro fact. And the new moon is always in the same sign that the sun is in. So um Virgo, we could have, I mean,
I mean, James Tallarico is a Virgo South node, so an eclipse on your South node,
he's got in his
not
nodal
always not that
eclipses.
great, not always that great.
I feel like
So
Jasmine
I think
Crockett with
she's gonna
Saturn
win.
and Neptune and Aries stands a real chance. I think people
I
are going
think
to
she
be
does too. I
people.
think she
There's a
does
real
too.
chance for a
I'm willing to be
surprise of
wrong,
an
but my
eclipse.
forecast is that South node is just not gonna is gonna weaken him, and that she's gonna really emerge as like the person who can bring a lot of different
Think
communities
molds are going to be
together into the
broken. Yeah,
polls. Yeah.
molds are breaking now this year. Like I know we're all
It's a 1 year. This is not the time to
to
go
go
to the old
cynical.
playbook. I mean, there will be on March 3rd, there will be the Sun, Mercury retrograde, Venus, Mars, and the North Node all in Pisces because Mars goes in. So for Aries, that's not always the best, but on a
Hmm.
solar point of view too. So they're probably, I know that Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, is trying to take out. He spent more than $1 million on smear campaign type of ads against Jasmine Crockett. But
That's what
it
happened
could
in New
also be
York, but
the 12th
yeah.
house, though, is also guardian angels.
And
It's
it's Pisces
karmic.
season too, let's not
Yeah.
forget.
So I mean, if you have a clear karmic record and good intentions, 12th house energy really can work in your favor. But if you have some Epstein files of your own, they will come out. So it's like whatever's been hidden will come out. And
Yeah, there's
I
a
don't know.
lot, there's a lot. It's Mercury will be retrograde too. So I imagine that there'll be potential, people messing with the ballots too. There could be.
No,
So
that's
let's talk
true.
about
Well, that
Mercury
might be something. Yeah,
retrograde.
Mercury retrograde might actually, we might see some voter fraud or just some confusion like that. Now, Mercury retrograde, for those who don't know what it is 3 to 4 times a year, Mercury and the Earth pass in their orbits around the sun, and Mercury appears to be moving backwards through the degrees of the zodiac. I always make the metaphor of Mercury retrograde. So we count everything by degrees through a sign 0 to 29. That's 30 degrees. It's 1 to 30, but we don't have a 30 degrees in astrology. So it's 0 to 29. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it's like you left your house and then you got halfway down the block, realized you forgot your keys, drove back
Hmm.
home, and then had to drive back over the distance that you had already covered. So Mercury goes back home, gets its keys, and then has to. So we have the trip back home while Mercury's retrograde. Then it goes what's called direct when it's done with its 3 week retrograde. And then it has to redrive that block. So we have this. So that means that Mercury stays in a sign for this extended period of time. So Mercury in Pisces isn't always the best because Mercury is it's kind of the left brain, analytical thinking part of the mind, and then Pisces is that right brain, dreamy, foggy. So there'll be mixed messages, but I think that there'll be some receipts. I definitely think that we'll see
Yeah,
some
with the Epstein files.
unredacting of the Epstein files for sure, but also probably some AI meddling with that too. That's already started.
And already the retro shade is rearing its head. The Department of Homeland Security was trying to shut down global entry and TSA at airports because of the partial government shutdown. And and they reversed it right away. There was such an outcry. It's like people already
People are like,
hate
we're not doing
you.
that crap again. Oh my
People are
God.
already, it's like, and then
Even NASA has
right,
postponed something. I mean, I
the
remember like
Artemis
there would
rocket
always
launch,
be
right?
like flight shuttle explosions and disasters during a Mercury retrograde. And I feel like someone might have secretly tipped NASA off or something. It's like,
God, I
please
hope so.
no space travel and no iOS updates, Apple during Mercury. It was like there
Oh
was
my
a time where it was like
God.
it was always during Mercury retrograde that they would. Although someone said
Does
like
anyone know about astrology in
someone
the
said
tech world?
something like who was a developer that actually maybe Apple did it on purpose because when you do an update, you want to see what breaks quickly so you can fix it. So that maybe a Mercury retrograde would break more and they
Nice
could work
workaround,
out the
but I doubt it.
bugs.
I'm more
Yeah.
inclined to think they were
Yeah.
ignorant
We
and
don't
maybe
need any
got tipped off.
apologists for the.
Well, another thing that's happening the day before Mercury goes retrograde is that the US and Iran are having talks in Geneva on
Lord.
Thursday. Because we know Trump is trying to puff up, and he's making such a mess in Iran already, like encouraging people during the protests to go out into the streets. The US will protect you. And then no, none of that happened. And I
So
think something like
terrible.
30,000 people there
Oh.
have been, who knows what's happened to them with the government. I did see, though, Saturn and Neptune again gives people that fight, that there are student protests that are kicking up again at some universities in Iran. That this year,
Remember
the
when
unbridled
Uranus went
spirit,
into Aries in 2011 and
Mm.
there was the Arab Spring and a lot of protests happening then. So whenever an outer planet goes into Aries, you see young people, youth, in the fire.
Demanding change in a new world.
Yeah.
And
With Saturn and Neptune, it's going to be all ages, though. I mean, Uranus rules the youth, but Saturn actually rules older people.
that's
So,
true.
so we may see like the boomer base. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of amazing people in their 50s, 60s, 70s. I mean, people in their 50s are Gen Xers at this point, but
But a lot of boomers
a lot
making
of
social
boomers like
media.
yeah making
Yeah.
social media about like real and really smart wise things and so
Supporting. I saw you sent me one of a woman who was like did this really great support of Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, and Aries planet will really shake things up. There were a couple other things happened. There was a man who was shot and killed near the security perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. Like maybe he
oh
was
boy.
an assassin or something. And then Mexico killed one of their major cartel leaders. And there's a lot of upheaval going. This is the year of the unbridled spirit. There's a lot of the freedom fighters, the renegades, the people who are just sick of things, wanting change and wanting it in more of a radical way are,
And
going
then
to
there's
step up.
Neptune in Aries bringing us Punch the monkey.
Oh,
He has been the
punch.
star, that
Poor
adorable
punch.
monkey 6 months old, who his mother,
He's in
rejected
Japan,
him in
right?
Japan at a zoo. And
His
so,
mother rejected him right after birth already. Like
yeah,
your
yeah.
heart breaks for Punch. And then
Yeah,
what
he
has been
kept,
going on with him?
I guess the zookeepers gave him this IKEA monkey, which has now sold out worldwide or something like that. But like they tried to like give him a transitional object to attach to help him. So they show these videos of his mother like kicking him away and then him going over and just like hugging this little monkey. And I think,
Mm.
Punch right now is all of us. Like we are all feeling this like, oh my God, I need my stuffed animal. I mean,
Well, he
this
got
is
bullied by other monkeys, right? Like the other
yeah, the other
monkeys wouldn't
monkeys.
play with him. I think it was
Yeah.
another monkey's mother who actually dragged him out, like dragged him because she thought he was upsetting. Now, I did see that the other young monkeys are starting to invite him to play a little bit, but
He got a
yeah,
hug from another monkey, but I mean,
hearts are
there's
melting.
something that, right now at this moment, seeing this little monkey who was bullied and just kept his pure spirit and just like had to go to the stuffed monkey, but like just his loving, pure little spirit was unbreakable. And I think that that is what is like both heartbreaking and,
Well, was it? Yeah, he was born.
warming.
He was speaking of the heart. You looked up Punch's
Oh yeah, I
birthday.
looked
Of
at his
course, isn't
birth
it?
chart.
He was a Leo, right, from
Yeah, he was
last
born at the
summer.
Leo new moon, July
Oh.
26th of 2025, and he was born when Saturn and Neptune were both in Aries because they briefly went into Aries last year. So Leo new moon. So when Jupiter goes into Leo June 30th of this year, I feel like Punch is going to like emerge as, like we're all going to be super invested in his growth and journey. I think he's going to be an unsung like
Trauma informed.
trauma. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna like triumph and, show us all how it's done. But yeah, so Saturn was in Aries briefly last year, May 24th to September 1st. Neptune, March 30th to October 22nd. So there's this little window, a couple of months where they overlapped, both being in Aries. In the summer, and
Bras
Punch was
Punch.
born during that time. So he's got the fighting spirit, but he's like this sweet little Leo. And Leos have, while Jupiter's in Cancer this year, for Leos, the first half of the year and the second half of 2025, it's like they're in this like vulnerable kind of place you don't usually see Leos in. And so I was like, yeah, you would
Yeah, their
usually start.
Leos are really doing a lot of inner processing, and like Leos need a hug and a stuffed IKEA monkey.
Yeah.
I will say that Jupiter in Cancer has been serving up some weird. I can't wait till it turns. Jupiter has been retrograde for a couple months
Yeah,
now, and
March 10th it goes out of
March 10th it goes
retrograde.
direct, and I've been getting some really weird things in my algorithm that feel like just this kind of push to like people, like there's these places like people encouraging people to
Oh yeah.
buy parcels of land together, but there was this one
But then they're like
where,
religious,
yeah, but
right?
it was like beyond that, it was almost like concierge farm. It's like you buy a house, your little ranch house on this shared farmland, and they provide the farm workers for you. So you don't even have to get your hands dirty. You can just pretend that you're like raising an alpaca or chickens, but you just, show up and wander around in someone else. It was so bizarre. It was like these communities, and then my ears, of course, perked up. Communities of togetherness and support and faith. I'm
Yeah, as
like,
soon as I heard the word faith, the F word, I was like, okay, got
trying
it.
to
It's
do
a
a little
religious
Christian
cult, thanks.
commune kind
Yeah.
of thing, or a whatever religion commune. It's just, yeah, I just found it all just suspect. Like, where are these? Who's pocketing the money? Because Bill Gates and Larry Ellison and Warren Buffett actually own a good deal, if not most of. They've been buying up farmland for years in the U.S. So, what's that all about? Is it like we're trying to get people into the back? I saw another one, which was obviously a paid influencer. Like he was sitting in a truck wearing like the construction workers like neon yellow and orange vests, and he's like, is anyone else's girlfriend like trying to get them to get a farm? I mean, I'm here to support her dreams, but I don't think she has any idea how much it costs. She's been talking about fluffy chickens and alpacas and
Oh
you know
God.
I was like, motherfucker. Yeah, I was just like, oh yes, we're all like, will you buy me a farm? I want to farm my boyfriend, my prince. Like, give me a
Ew.
break. No woman who actually wants a farm for real would be asking some douchey guy to buy her the farmland. I'm like, and even having
It's a lot of work.
chickens, there's a lot, even having chickens. I have a couple friends here in Seattle who have chickens. It's a lot of work. Their shit attracts rats too, which is
Ew.
also bad. And occasionally a raccoon will sneak in and eat one of the chickens. And it's just like, look, and if you really do have it in you to want to have a farm and do that, I applaud you. And please let us know where we can come for some farm to table fare. What
Yeah.
another, but it's like, this is hard work. This is great. It's like it's just more of the American, just we are just getting our asses handed to us. Also, like the real farm workers of people who, a lot of them migrants who were out there doing the hard work, and it's unglamorous and
I mean, what's
kind of
really happening to farmers is they've lost huge amounts of their staff because they're all scared to come to work. If they're from a foreign country, they're scared of ice and,
not to mention tariffs.
be
It
out of
already feels
control.
like Uranus is in Gemini. It's like, I don't know. It's so
Yeah.
crazy. But I think Jupiter and Cancer, kind of the US being a Cancer, it's just like,
Yeah, we
Jupiter could be
needed to go to out of
bloviating, the
retrograde.
hubris, the ego of Jupiter can be out of control. So I don't know. We're in interesting times right now, but Mercury retrograde in Pisces is the warm up. Maybe it'll, I don't know, maybe it'll give us some nostalgia and some chances to go back. Now, I am the Mars Uranus square on Saturday is a
Got to be
little
careful with those.
unsettling there. Yeah, like that is,
Then
I mean,
I predict a protest after the
or
Iran
Iran.
meeting in Geneva, and then the North Node together with the Sun in Pisces fighting for the underdog. So
Yeah, it's
that's,
interesting. It could be, your Uranus is a change maker. I'm calling it Uranus today. I just always have to disclaim sometimes. It's like,
there's no good way to say that planet.
but I'm going to Gemini already, so we can stop talking about you for 7 years, please. But April 25th, we have a Uranian switch from Taurus. I mean, and all this stuff with farms and food supply and the data centers trying to buy up farmland, and people actually are shutting them out and showing up, and they're getting pushback, which is good.
Yeah,
So
they did beat, I think it was New Brunswick or something.
New
They
Jersey, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the people won. So this was a week of some victories for the people. Some power to the
Hmm.
people. That was what our first glimpse of Saturn, Neptune, the fire horse. So I hope for more of that to continue, but be careful on Saturday because it is a little bit of an unleashed energy, even if it's necessary. It's Mars and Uranus are both hot-headed and kind of
Yeah, I'm feeling like there's going to be
firebrand.
like another attempt at some distraction of mass weapons of mass distraction kind of thing going on this
Yeah, well,
week,
with the North Node and the Sun too.
and then
So
the eclipse coming. So we've got, I mean,
yeah, we
next
are
week.
still in eclipse season. We're in
So we've
what they
got
call
that
the
full
eclipse
moon.
corridor between two eclipses. Yeah, 2 weeks
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah, the next couple weeks are still a little shaky. I mean, honestly,
For sure, for sure. The whole
it,
Mercury retrograde. March 20th is the end of Pisces season, the spring equinox, the beginning of Aries season, and the end of Mercury retrograde. So hang tight till March 20th. And I mean, this is all happening for a reason. Well, in the
I mean,
meantime,
yeah, well, let me just say real quick that Pisces, Mercury retrograde in Pisces could also bring some underground movements, underground organizing,
yeah.
and opportunity to really, we don't have to do everything. I mean, I think it would be nice, like I said, I think it would be really, monumental if like Madonna, and not that she's even so relevant, but she is for Gen Xers, but like people who
She's
are
got
like these
money.
icons started to like speak up against all the insanity. Like I mean, we've got Bad Bunny as our icon
And not
here,
just
but
speak up, but show, use
show
their
up,
wealth,
show up.
use their wealth to support the change, that their artists have led great movements of change. But right now we're up against robber baron, tech oligarch, billionaire class
Yeah.
people like never before. So they need those who do have wealth of that magnitude need to start using it in the other direction because it's certainly being used in the harmful ones. So speaking of the fire horse, we have something fun to get you through Mercury retrograde coming up later this week with our friends at Pound Jewelry.
Yep, we are giving away five of these amazing carnelian pendulum pendants. Last year was the year of the divine pendulum, but this year we're still loving the pendulum itself. So, Pound Jewelry is a mother-daughter owned business. They hand make these beautiful pendants that we wear all the time. And this year we picked carnelian as our crystal of the year. Every year we, because it really does bring that fiery, sun-soaked energy of the fire horse. So this is just something we wanted to do just to, as our appreciation for you. So we're going to announce a contest. You'll have to follow us and Pound Jewelry on Instagram so you can already start doing that. And then make sure you're on our list because we're going to send an email out. So we'll put the link in case you're not receiving our mailing list messages, or we'll be announcing it on social media. So you have Friday until March 1st. We're going to pick five winners actually on March 1st. So the grand prize winner gets a carnelian pound pendulum, a copy of our 2026 horoscope book, and a crystal reading from Becca Canapel, who is one of the owners of Pound. She's amazing. And an astrology reading, a birth chart reading from us. And then four runners up get a carnelian necklace, a pendulum, and a copy of our 2026 horoscope book. I love what they wrote about the carnelian. They send you a little card and a little booklet on how to actually use a pendulum for divination. But it says that the colors in carnelian are like the fire in the sunset and the brilliance of the coming of autumn. Ancient warriors wore carnelian to promote courage, known for assisting timid speakers to be bold and brave, enhances passion, love, and desire, and very good for balancing physical energy and strength, which is basically
Perfect.
everything we've been talking about on this episode of the
Yeah, really
podcast. So
perfect.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the contest is running. So make sure you enter it if you want one of these beauties and want a chance to win a reading with
Yeah,
us.
and we'll be
That's
sharing the link to enter through our email list and our social media. Follow AstroTwins on Instagram if you don't already.
and and Pound Jewelry.
If you'd like to get your chart read by one of us, we have some bookings open, astrostyle.com/readings, and, sign up, have your life changed and mapped for a private one-on-one reading with me or Tali. We do them over Zoom and all over the world.
Yep.
Some of you guys who are listening have done readings with us. We love meeting you. Truly, always an honor. I'm always so impressed by the
Mm-hmm.
people that I meet and uh, what you're up to. So
Just
we
a
are
reading
here
for
to
someone
support
all the
you.
way in Majorca, and it was like 11 o'clock at night her time. So, by the way, and if you do book a reading and you look at our schedules and like, oh my God, this would be like me waking up at 3 in the morning to do this. Like, you can always ping our team and
We'll find a
we'll
time.
find a time for you. Book it, just say book a time, book a day, and then like reach out and we'll make sure that you
Don't
don't
have to
have
get up at
to.
an ungodly hour. Have yourself a powerful, fiery fire horse week
Do
and
your
get
Mercury
yourself ready for
retrograde.
Mercury
Yeah.
retrograde. Yeah, do
Back
your
up,
prep.
back up the files, double confirm the reservations, make sure everything you've scheduled is locked in. If you need to make amends with someone, just, I mean, that takes longer than one conversation sometimes or something, but like, just, walk a little softly. Now it is Pisces season, which is a time that's more warm and fuzzy and compassionate anyways. And yeah, I always enjoy Pisces season. I do get a little, it's time to be a little more, both
It's the
when
last
you
sign
need.
of the zodiac. So it's like finish up some things, getting ready for spring for Aries season to start on March 20th.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in.